Hey guys, welcome back to the Charismatic Nerd. So today we're going to have a brief discussion on what to do if you find yourself struggling. Now mind you, when it comes to struggling, it's all subjective. Everyone has their own form of a struggle. Personally for me, from the age of 17 to 26, 10 years, I've been struggling in the sense where I found life just way too difficult, just overwhelming, and I just wanted to give up on many occasions. However, the way I was able to get out of that phase of never-ending struggling was due to two things. Now, these two things, they're not complicated, they're not new, they're not some amazing potion. However, they were foundational in me becoming the person that I am today and helping me learn how to embrace life as it is with all its challenges, its ups and downs, and whatever you call life. So what are these two things? Now before I tell you, I just want to be honest guys, these two things are nothing new. You've heard them countless times. You've probably seen a bunch of videos on YouTube about them. Alright, so these two things are Nofap and Therapy. Now, before you start thinking that I'm just gonna rehash some content that I watched on YouTube or read on Google, just bear with me just for a few minutes. The thing is, Nofap and Therapy, they're so crucial in helping a young man develop into a well-rounded individual in the West. Honestly, seeing my own transformation from, for lack of a better word, I was a loser. I think I've said that in so many videos. I was a loser. And embracing Nofap and embracing therapy has helped me mature naturally into the individual that I am today. And especially whenever my friends ask me for advice when they're going through a very difficult phase, I honestly tell them the same thing that I'm telling you right now. I tell them first go on Nofap and then go into therapy, all right? And the reason why I think Nofap and therapy is so crucial in this day and age, I'm gonna divulge a little bit more. All right, again, this is not a video where I'm gonna go hard on Nofap and hard on therapy. It's just more in the sense that it's a nudge. It's just a reminder that if you are struggling, just start with Nofap and therapy and then stay with that consistently, and trust me, you'll be very surprised with what you'll become in the end. So with Nofap, honestly, I feel like a broken record just repeating it, but because I love you guys, I'm gonna do it again. So the whole thing with Nofap is fairly simple. It's all about your sexual energy. And I think one of the issues that with a lot of guys today is that they don't have respect for their sexual energy. So they just think that all that's involved with sexuality is busting a nut, which is absolutely false. The things you have to understand is that your sexual energy is a gift. It's that power that will help you drive you into accomplishing your goals and dreams. If we're being really brutally honest, sexual energy is behind all the art, literature, war, culture, basically every human achievement you can think of. Sexual energy is behind it. Sexual energy is so powerful that a lot of primitive societies and even a lot of traditional societies have an immense respect for it. And they realize that you can't just be expending your sexual energy for trivial matters because it's pointless. You're wasting your potential. So you have to understand with Nofap, you have to respect your sexual energy. So when you're able to retain yourself and not just bust a nut, but also just hold yourself. But you're not just holding yourself where you're repressing. That's where a lot of guys get it wrong. You want to basically channel that energy into living a life of your own creation. You want to use that sexual energy for your hobbies, for being social, and for dating. That's what you need to be using your sexual energy for. It's that power that drives you to engage with life. But again, when you're just jerking off every day, you don't have that sexual energy to engage with life. And trust me, we all know that life is difficult, life is challenging. I think in Buddhism they say life is suffering. So if that's the case, then you're going to need all of your sexual energy to engage with life, deal with the challenges, find solutions. That's the whole point of sexual energy. Can you imagine Genghis Khan jerking off? Can you imagine Shakespeare jerking off? Can you imagine Einstein jerking off like every day watching porn? No, you can't. It's because all those individuals realize the power of their sexual energy and use it for their own personal pursuits. Now, one thing I do want to clarify with Nofap is that I'm not saying to never fap in your life. I'm not saying to never have sex. I'm not saying any of those things. What I am saying is that with Nofap, you want to develop a mature relationship with your sexuality. That's honestly what it is. Otherwise, if you don't have a mature relationship with your sexuality, what usually happens is that you end up being a slave to your sexual impulses, or you use jerking off as a crutch to feel better. And the thing is, if that's what's happening, then you're always going to be engaging with life handicapped. You're always going to be holding yourself back from what you can actually be. So, like I always say, guys, it's all about being a well-rounded individual. And being a well-rounded individual is someone that they embrace their sexuality, they respect that sexual energy, and they know when to expend it, and they know when not to, right? So again, jerking off or watching porn, that's not worth expending your sexual energy. Dating, hobbies, traveling, career, that's where you want to be utilizing your sexual energy, right? Because again, your life is short, your energy is limited, and you have to be strategic in where you expend it. So again, guys, I'm not saying to never fap or never to have sex. I'm just saying that you just want to be a lot more mature with your sexuality. That's it. All right, so let's go on to the second part of this video. Therapy, therapy, therapy. I know, I sound like a broken record with therapy too, but trust me, guys, there's something about therapy that is very insightful and profound. And to be quite honest, even when I succeeded with the Nofap, I was still missing something, and that something was my emotional immaturity. And the reason why I say that is that I didn't know how to process my emotions in a healthy manner. So unfortunately, I repressed it. I repressed a majority of my emotions. And being in the West, being a dude in the West, that tends to be the default, where we just repress our emotions. It just seems like the easiest thing to do. However, but when you go through therapy, you learn some simple truths about being human. And one of those simple truths is that it's okay to have your emotions. It's okay for your emotions to go through you. Having emotions is what makes you uniquely human. In fact, having emotions is what helps you relate with all the other human beings from the past, present, and in the future, because emotions don't change. But again, going through life in the West as a dude, you think emotions are bad and you gotta cut them out. But think about this. If emotions were bad or handicapped in a way, then evolution would have got rid of emotions in guys millions of years ago. But it didn't, because emotions have their purpose in human beings. That's a fact. So with therapy, it's more in the sense that you're learning to embrace your emotions, and you're learning to allow your emotions to go through you. And keep in mind, everyone is different, right? So when you go to therapy, it's there to help you to find your own solutions uniquely for yourself. It's not like therapy is not a cookie cutter solutions. Therapy helps you discover the solutions for yourself. And with that being said, everyone's gonna have their own issues with the different emotions, right? Whether it's like fear, happiness, anger, everyone has to figure out their own way in how to process those uncomfortable emotions. For me, one of the things I realized, and this is at age 28, I realized this, didn't really think about it before. At age 28 in therapy, I realized that I repressed my anger, that I didn't really give myself a chance to express my anger. So basically, I was a ticking time bomb waiting to explode. I didn't know when I was going to explode, but I was going to explode if I didn't learn how to process my anger properly. So after that therapy session, I realized that there was numerous ways where I could express my anger without harming other people. I think one of the reasons why I was so afraid to express my anger and why I repressed it was because I thought if my anger ever came out, it would be damaging. But that was a lie. If you know how to properly express your emotions, nobody will get hurt in the process. And for me, the way I was able to express anger was through journaling, where I just sit down and just write out my emotions. Doesn't have to make sense. It doesn't. It's a judge-free zone. I just write whatever I'm feeling. And once that's done, I feel unburdened by the anger. The anger is gone. And then I'm able to proceed with the rest of my day. So that's just one small example, but you have to understand that you have to be able to express your emotions in a healthy way. And this all leads to you becoming, into becoming an emotionally integrated individual. Now, I know this sounds all nice and fancy, but you guys, you have to understand this, that it's not easy becoming an emotionally integrated individual. It's not. And that's why I strongly recommend therapy, in the sense that it'll help you learn about your emotions, how to process them. And funny enough, in that entire process, it also helps you to humanize yourself and everyone around you. Therapy to me was one of the best things I've ever done in my life. So with Nofap and Therapy, I'm so glad that I stumbled onto those two things, because it made such a huge difference in my life. Now again, with all that being said, some of you I know will probably think therapy is too expensive. I can't afford it. I get it. I totally get it. When I was in therapy, I was unemployed and it drained my savings. But I will tell you this. If you think therapy is too expensive, then try going once a month, once every 2 months, or perhaps getting health insurance, whatever it is. Try to figure out something, because you don't want to think that you have to go to therapy every week to resolve your problems. No, it doesn't have to be that way. Go at whatever pace you can afford. It doesn't matter how slow you're going. As long as you're moving forward, it's going to make a difference. Trust me, at one point I couldn't afford my weekly therapy sessions anymore. So I opted for going once a month. Even though my therapist obviously wanted me weekly, I could only go once a month. And I kept going forward with that. And then it came to a point where my therapist told me that I didn't need it anymore. That I was emotionally healthy. I resolved my traumatic internal issues. So guys, please, your life is short. And you have to remember that you are your most valuable asset. You are. More than your education, whatever your bank account, you are your most valuable asset. So it's your responsibility to take care of yourself and make sure that you're operating, I don't want to say perfectly, but you're operating at a sufficient level where you're emotionally healthy, physically healthy, mentally healthy, and all that. That's your responsibility. And if you feel like that something's missing, or you just don't feel like you're fulfilling your potential, I highly recommend therapy. Even with Nofap, even though I think highly of Nofap is only one piece of the puzzle, and therapy is the other piece. And I want you guys to keep this in mind. Nofap and therapy, they're not going to solve all your problems. They're not. However, they're going to help you become a person that can. And that to me is crucial. All right? And if you're watching this video, you're on the right path, because there's something in you that knows that you can be living more honestly, authentically. You feel that impulse. So again, let this video be a nudge, be a reminder to follow these 2 simple steps, Nofap and therapy. And trust me, you stay consistent enough, 2, 3, 4 years from now, you're going to look back and be satisfied with how far you've come. All right? So anyway, guys, that's it for today. Thank you again for watching. Please don't forget to like this video, comment, subscribe to my channel, subscribe to my newsletter for some exclusive content. But guys, remember, you're not just any type of nerd. You're a charismatic nerd.